Hi, I'm Jordan, and I'm a podcast host.
Hi, I'm Insha, and I'm the co host.
And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the social media and mental health and some of the negative aspects of that, such as the unfortunate promotion of unhealthy beauty standards on social media platforms and the effects of seeking gratification in others. And lastly, we'll talk a little bit about the benefits of social media just so we can highlight those as well. And then we'll talk about how to cope with the negative aspects.
So, first of all, we're going to begin with the topic, which is social media and the promotion of unhealthy beauty standards. And some where statistics are going to be mentioned, and that's going to be based on the United States statistics. So, as we all know, social media is huge, and our daily lives pretty much are, I mean, really influenced by it. And social media as such, they have for our self-esteem as such and how we live our daily lives, it has a really negative impact for every single thing we do if we spend too much time on there. And one of the major things that social media promotes is the promotion of unhealthy beauty standards. So you may have seen celebrities and people you follow and just influencers. They always have the most perfect body, the most glowing skins, and they are just living their best lives, right? And you see them, and then you compare yourself to them, and you're like, "Why isn't my life like theirs?" And you see those skinny models, and you know,
Honestly,
skinny, yeah.
I was gonna say, honestly, I do want to say that freaking Photoshop is awful. I hate it.
I know.
I
Because like social media, people tend to do such as Photoshop as such. So like especially if they're celebrities or models, they are most likely going to do
Right.
that, and then just gives us one thing that, oh, they have perfect bodies, and we don't see the actual side of what the reality
Right.
is.
And I hate it because like every time I watch like I love watching videos of people editing photos because I just think it's interesting. But then I see like how unrealistic it really is. Like it's okay to try to look your best through Photoshop or something, but I swear somebody will have like a super curvy waist and then they shrink it down by like a million and it's like why?
Yeah, definitely. And they have like the most perfectly structured
Right.
faces, plump lips and small noses. We see a lot of like models Instagrams, and then we are like, oh, okay, I don't look like
Right.
that. So, that just gives us a place where we are really insecure in our own skin because we see them and they're like perfect. But then we look at ourselves in the mirror and we're like, oh, we're not like them. So, and they're models, so we might not be perfect then.
Honestly, I feel like especially as teenagers try to fit in so much and try to be accepted by their peers so much. So then trying to just casually browse your social media and seeing all these like unrealistic sort of photos will even intensify the pressure on teenagers as well. Of course, it's a thing that adults will deal with, but I feel like as teenagers we try to fit in the best we can, if we don't fit in, I guess we feel like an outcast, and that's never okay. Um,
Yeah. And teenage is a time of vulnerability. We see things and we get impacted by them. And we're like at an emotional stage where, even the smallest things can impact us to a
right.
point where we can just like, lose ourselves completely. And especially for the people who have struggled with, first of all, eating disorders or insecure about their body, like they have body dysmorphia. They see people on social media again with with their flat bellies and skinny waists, curvy hips, and they're like that just intensifies their body dysmorphia. And there are triggers. This acts as like a really big trigger, and then they again see themselves and they're like, oh, we're not kind of enough, and this just goes on, and this is a never-ending cycle of them completely getting insecure,
Right.
and then just not being comfortable with themselves.
And I hate the fact that I know that I've never personally struggled with an eating disorder, but I have watched like videos of people talking about their experience with eating disorders. And I know that there are like these Instagram pages where they like glorify eating disorders and like
Wow, this is
I
terrible.
know.
Um,
I really wish that Instagram, especially, I don't know about any other social media really. I really wish that Instagram sort of like monitored that stuff very closely because those pages about like glorifying eating disorders are so triggering to people, and there should definitely be more modification or moderation on that. And get your stuff together, Instagram.
yeah, I mean, they should, take out new guidelines for it,
Right.
because this just has such again, as you said, triggers for people, and this kind of increases rates of self-harm. That's also been recorded. People become more, again, insecure, and it just goes on to trigger them, and they kind of come in a dark place where they're like, oh, I can never be as good as them, I can never be as pretty as them, and this
Right.
just completely ruins them. And yeah.
And I think that then progresses slowly into just like completely changing yourself for people. And I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like individuality is what makes people beautiful and special and unique. And I don't know why we tend to like gravitate towards the most popular trends and trying to replicate your um, personal preferences just to match those trends. And I don't know. I guess I love being individual because it shows off my best personality characteristics. And I feel like if we all had that sort of mentality, it would be so much better, I guess.
Yeah, and I've noticed, from a couple of months, and I mean even more, that people slowly in social media, every single one of them almost kind of ends up looking the same.
Right.
If we consider models and influencers, and this they kind of lose themselves, their individuality as such. And I feel like this term individuality is so special that everybody is unique, and if there's not going to be any diversity if we end up looking the same,
Right.
acting the same, or I mean projecting our lives as the same, because let's be honest, nobody's lives is the same. Everybody has different things going on, the routines are different, the
Hmm.
kind of environment they live in, and to project that as other people's lifestyles, I mean, you're not only lying to yourself but to the world as well. And that if you lie to the world, then they are also going to be insecure because you might do something that they might not have.
Right.
And this just goes on, as a form of chain. So uh, this is a really negative impact that social media has and just continues to have. And I don't think anything has been done or it has gotten better. I don't think so.
Well, yeah. I wish that a lot of people, more people knew that being individual show is like a very special thing, as you were talking about. And I feel like the fact that 87% of women and 65% of men compare their body images to social media trends, and additional to that, 50% of women and 37% of men compare their bodies unfavorably, or aka in a negative light. And honestly, those statistics make me so sad because it really just puts in perspective how much we compare ourselves to other people and how much we're trying to find happiness in trying to be like other people. And again, that individuality aspect is so overlooked because at least over here we grow up saying that, oh, you're so unique, you're so special, just be yourself, but nobody really listens to it. And I hate that.
Yeah, I think there are pages on Instagram that, go on about self motivation, but then we read them, and for one instance, in the next instance, we go on people's social media pages and we're like, oh, okay. We can't be ourselves if, this is the rest of the world. And I think a major contribution to kind of for us to follow those beauty standards, or as the standards that social media puts forward. I think the most the reason for that is that people want to see. I mean, people are going to be, one moment they're going to be like, oh, this is not it, this is not the reality, we don't like it, be yourselves. And the next moment they're going to be like, no, actually we like the social media models better,
Right.
they look pretty and you need to be like them. So it's like a hypocritical view they have. One moment they're like, be yourself, the next moment they're like, no, follow that person, look like that person, or you're not pretty at all, or you're not beautiful, you're not special.
Right.
So this is one of the major reasons that contributes to kind of the way that social media is, and that the way it impacts us so much. And this kind of just leads on to people changing themselves, because they know that they're not the world is not going to approve them. They at least think that the world not going to approve them, and this just leads on to them changing themselves, as I said before. And that's where plastic surgery comes into place. um, so plastic surgery as such is not a bad thing. I mean, we all know models and celebrities, they somehow have gotten to this procedure, but it's not a bad thing at all. But the problem starts when people start romanticizing it. So and they think that it will replace their issues with their bodies, but this just goes on to tell that no, their body is not enough, they're not
Right.
enough, and they need to change themselves in order to be that enough that they weren't before.
And that just reminds me, I don't know if you've heard of it. Well, I hope you haven't. I really hope you haven't heard of what I'm about to mention. But there was a show here. I can't remember the title, but I remember it being like there were judges that tell people that they don't look good enough, so then they have to go through like all of these procedures, like you have to exercise, you have to get your diet right, which is fine and all, but then at the end of the show they're like, okay, you need plastic surgery, and then they're just guiding them through the plastic surgery process. And at the end of the day, it's like 10 to 15 actual like surgeries, just restructuring their whole body. And at the end of the day, the person was so insecure with themselves that they thought plastic surgery would be a solution. But after they did all the plastic surgery, they regretted it. So that led them to being more negative about their body and feeling like intense amount of regret. And the romanticization of plastic surgery does not solve anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard about the show. I'm glad I haven't seen it, or just, um, I mean, this truly is true. I mean, truly is true. Okay. So when people get plastic surgery just to change themselves because they again think they are not good enough, or sometimes people tell them to do so. If I was seeing an interview a really leading actress. She said that people told her to get plastic surgery if she wanted to come in films, in the media, because she wasn't good looking enough, and um, she declined to do so. And then they didn't take her, or they didn't let her audition because she just wasn't pretty enough.
Really?
So yeah, really. I mean, this is okay. So if she had got plastic surgery, then the rest of the world, the general public, would see that she's so pretty, and they would somehow also obsess over the idea of plastic surgery.
Right.
Oh, the plastic surgery can make you pretty, and I'm gonna get one. And sometimes when it happens that when people get plastic surgery and they're not satisfied with how they look, they tend to get more and then again it goes on and on and on, and until they completely change themselves, and nobody can just recognize them as
Right.
them anymore. um, and this concept of plastic surgery making you better, and and the concept that the plastic surgery is going to make you better is definitely not it, and I mean needs to definitely change, because that just project a really terrible idea of beauty
Right.
onto the world, and creates problems for people and their esteem.
I definitely just want to repeat what you said because oh my god, people think that plastic surgery makes them better when in reality I feel like we should all focus on learning to accept any flaws in quotation marks that we may have, and also just learn to embrace how you look because that can I feel like that can lead you to become more confident in yourself as a whole, just naturally accepting who you are. But of course, I don't want to say that plastic surgery is bad because if you want to get a surgery done, go ahead, do it. But if you're trying to get plastic surgery to replace every single bit of yourself that you don't like, just reconsider just a little bit.
Yeah, plastic surgery is your choice. Get as much as you want, but then again, the topic of don't lose your
Right.
individuality. Don't try to be like others in order to please yourself. That comes into play. So just keep that in mind, and just try to embrace yourself and appreciate what you look like. You know, appreciate yourself a little bit more, because that really helps to boost your self-esteem.
Absolutely. And I do want to say that it's gonna be easier said than done because of course you can go around and say, yeah, just love yourself, just love how you look, just love your body, but of course it's not that easy. I know from
I know,
experience.
especially with social media being around you, and just you surrounded by all sorts of people with all sorts of looks. I mean, that can be a little tough, but just try. I mean, trying is all you can do. Yeah.
There are a lot of besides the like eating disorder Instagram accounts, there are a lot of body positivity accounts. So I think that following those Instagram pages can definitely like help you a little bit, or even getting support from friends can help you.
Yeah, and there are people who've gone through, so I mean, eating disorders, body dysmorphia, and they're on social media and they raise awareness about
Right.
it. And if you're going through some sort of problems with regarding the same, you can always have a word with them, or just look at them and be like, "Oh, I'm not the only one who's gone through this." And there are lots of people on social media, I mean, who've gone through the same thing probably as you, and you can just relate with them, and it makes you feel a bit more secure, to say, if you surround yourself with the people who've actually gone through some sort of problems that you're going through. And body positivity again is a very positive impact on if aspect of social media.
I also want to say that if you are struggling through an eating disorder, you're valid, and I know that it's going to be hard and that you're struggling right now, but please reach out to somebody. Try to get professional help or additional to the online support or support from friends or people going through the same thing. Try to get professional help because that can be a really tough thing to handle alone if you already have this preset notion about what is right and what's wrong with the way that you eat or the way that you look.
Yeah, definitely. So, moving on to the next segment, it's the effects of seeking gratification in others. So, as you all might have known, that we all post stuff on social media. We all, tend to gain likes and comments and followers. We all love doing that, and we all love having all that attention. But this, when if looked at from a different perspective, can get a little toxic if not, controlled well. So we post pictures on social media, and then we get likes and all these comments. But like, has anyone actually noticed or paid attention to why do we post and why do we feel the urge to post? I'll tell you. So it's a psychological concept that when we post stuff on social media, I mean, of course, models and celebrities, they get some sort of negative comments, but if you're not, I mean, at that level right now, most of your comments, or most of the people that that are following you, are going to give you positive feedback, positive comments, and just boost you and boost your self-esteem, just make you a bit happy. but then you tend to seek that happiness wherever you are like, okay, now I posted this, then I need to show them that I'm a little bit more happier than this, and I'll post that, and they actually have to like it because and then you kind of just sort of try to project that everything in your life is perfect just to show them that you're happy, and
Right.
in order for you to gain positive feedback and comments. And when it goes a little bit out of line, you can just get addicted to it. So social media can become an addiction. Projecting yourself as perfect can become an addiction, and you always tend to seek that sort of positivity from social media. And one, I mean, if for one instance you don't get it from social media as well as real life, you become kind of shook, like, oh, okay, this is new, this hasn't happened
Right.
before, and that can lower your self-esteem. So we tend to seek we tend to use social media to boost our self-esteem, and which definitely is not the way to go about
Right.
it, because you know, why can't we rely on social media for boosting our self-esteem entirely? Because there are again loads of people, loads of pages that make us feel insecure, and if we see them, then on our own profile, most likely we're going to project that, oh, we're happier than them,
Mm-hmm.
or we're like them, so we're living the perfect life, and come and follow us, come and like a post, you know.
I think that speaking on the sort of perfect life aspect, I think that um, being authentic on social media is what people are really interested in, because I know that with me, I personally see other social media pages and I do sometimes get jealous or even think that they're happier than me. But when I see somebody who is sort of authentic and like, hey, I'm feeling sad, so I'm not gonna post, or hey, this is what I'm going through, just portraying themselves as a normal person, you can sort of feel that connection to them, and you can sort of try to absorb that authenticity as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think being authentic is really important, and that's what some people lack when they, rely on social media to boost their so-called self-esteem. I think authenticity can really guide you to happiness as such, and not just other people, but to you. So you don't have to kind of portray that everything about you is perfect. And let's be honest, nobody is
Right.
perfect, and nobody would have a perfect life, because it's just a universal fact that everybody some point in their life goes through some stuff, and it's not like you can avoid it. And not showing that on social media, or just denying that on social media, has a negative impact on the audience that you have, not
Mm-hmm.
just you, because you're forced to do what you're forced to project what you're not, and forced to do what you don't. So yeah, that really kind of deteriorates everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you slowly become a person who just is not themselves, and just tries to kind of go on leading a life of a clone, if that makes sense.
Oh.
That's Yeah, I know that is like really some intense stuff, but you just completely become a person you're not. And in this race of portraying yourself as perfect, which definitely not everyone is. So, yeah, authenticity is a really important factor that people on social media need to focus more on.
Right. Um, definitely, definitely pushing that authenticity again. And I just want to say that portraying yourself as perfect, people tend to think that while I am perfect, quotation marks, that that will automatically give you that sort of gratification through the likes, comments, and shares and things like that, and you become addicted, like you did say before with the social media addiction. That is a very, very powerful thing when you try to place all of your self worth on how many comments you get, how many likes you get. And I know that, especially as an artist myself, I did run an art page, and I would spend like hours and hours and hours on my artworks. and I would only get about like 10 likes, and that just made me think that I was a bad artist when obviously that's not the case. So trying to distance yourself from how many likes you get or the number of comments you get, trying to distance yourself from the number factor rather than the quality, focusing on the quality of the content can be very beneficial.
Yeah, there was like long time back, there was a trend. It was waking up with no makeup, or just like a waking up look in the morning look when you just wake up. That was a trend. Still is going on. I don't know, like centuries it's been. So this trend, it was its main idea was to focus on the fact for you to look authentic, for you to look as real as possible. But then people kind of took it the wrong way, and then they kind of edited and altered their look in the morning. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing at all, but they completely, completely lost track of what the actual idea of this trend was. Um, so some trends, they supposedly come to enhance body positivity and stuff, but then people kind of take it the wrong way, and they feel like they need to again put in the idea of perfect life,
Right.
perfect face, perfect body in that trend as well. So the trend itself loses authenticity, and people kind of regard it as useless because again the purpose is just lost.
Oh.
So that's something that, yeah, I mean, the trend again, as I was mentioning about perfect face, people, you know, um, did their whole makeup, and then they click their pictures, the hair and stuff. So the main aspect of it is lost, and then again, people are going to see them and be like, oh, okay. If they didn't know about the fact that they did their makeup, they're going to be like, oh, they have such perfect skin in the morning, their
Right.
hair is so perfect, and we look like, I don't know, people, normal people look terrible in the morning. I do. I look terrible in the morning. So they just kind of lose track of the idea, and that negatively impacts people a lot.
And I really just want to say that, like, I want to back that up because, yes, we all look terrible in the morning. And if you don't look terrible, congrats. I applaud you. But we all got to come to that sort of realization that at the end of the day, we're all human. We all look gross in the morning. We all poop. we all do. We all eat gross, maybe. Just come to the realization that we're all on the same level, playing field, and nobody is above us, nobody is below us, and I think that's what something people don't get. Like with celebrities, especially, people think that they're just like these perfect human beings who don't have feelings and therefore invite like all these negative comments about how perfect they are, and even celebrities look gross in the morning, so
Yeah, even if they don't show it online, they do. I mean, we let's be honest, we can't just sit here, we can't just sit on a table, with our back straight, I mean, a napkin on our lap and with posh, dinery. We can't sit like that. It's not possible. I mean, especially in the morning, everyone is tired in the morning, and how are they going to sit straight and then, work out in perfect gym clothes? That's just all for pictures. And I want to, elaborate on the fact that you spoke about celebrities, and they also, have feelings. So people sometimes, if a celebrity somehow got plastic surgery, so people are going to kind of point that out whenever they post, that you're pretty only because you got plastic surgery. So we need to realize that they're also humans. They also have insecurities. Yes, they might have gotten plastic surgery, which is not a bad thing at all. It's just their choice, their way of thinking, but that doesn't give us a motive to point that out in them, because again, social media also impacts them as much as it does to
right.
us. So they also might feel left out. Maybe they also might feel low because of social media, and that just doesn't, just because they're celebrities, that doesn't give us a motive to kind of negatively point out the insecurities or just the fact that they got plastic surgery or stuff like that.
Right.
And Yeah, and social media also, I was saying, social media also makes us feel left out. You know, we see other people, and it's just a topic that is this kind of interrelated. So we feel left out in the sense that we don't have what they have. Then that's why we're just like out with the outcast. Um, because I think everyone sort of tells that their life is good in on social media. I mean, everybody, almost everybody, I'd say, not to generalize anything. Um, so yeah, everybody kind of says that their life is perfect on social media, and if we see that, we're also going to feel bad because why don't we have their lives?
Right.
So it's just all interrelated.
Honestly, being able to not compare your life to other people, or even like, I know that there are situations where you see like your friends hanging out and you're like, why didn't they invite me or something like that. But which obviously it can suck and it can make you feel some type of way, but at the same time I think another thing with social media is that we're so like adamant on posting about our lives, and we're so adamant on connecting with other people that it makes us forget that we have to be okay with being alone and finding enjoyment with just being by yourself. Like, have a fun time and make yourself laugh.
Yeah, I'd like to share my own experience. I was again scrolling through Instagram once, like every other day, and I saw like this trend. I think not trend, but where people have, I mean, where people go out with their friends and click these amazing pictures, and watch the sunset, and then they ride their skateboards on the road, and they wear these amazing clothes with perfect hair, perfect makeup, and even when they're studying, they study aesthetically, like their notes are
Right.
beyond gorgeous. They have these lamps and these candles. I'm like, okay, wow, I don't have that. I mean, I don't have friends, so I can't just go around riding my skateboard to watch the sunset, of course. I mean, I can't even study aesthetically. How is that possible? How can one study aesthetically? You just can't. So I feel really, sometimes I do feel like, oh, I don't have what they have. But then I kind of just tell myself, I console myself. I'm like, this is not the reality. I mean, I can't do this on my own. I can't just sit around, you know, with perfect desk, perfect hair, perfect makeup, and perfect friends as well. I mean, I can't do that. So it's just about you realizing that what you see on social media is not always the reality, and
Right.
you have to realize that, because that just, um, if you don't, that just negatively impacts you and makes you feel worse if you don't kind of come to that realization yet. So just keep that in mind next time you compare yourself to anyone on social media.
Right. And as a person who does follow those like study accounts who have like the really fancy notes, I guarantee you 100%, I guarantee you that the person does not study like that every day. They're probably doing it for like, I don't know, just to get likes or something. They're not doing that 100% of the time.
I know, I sit with like a hoodie, like an oversized hoodie with my hair in a bun, and I sit with my legs on the table, and I literally study like that. And I don't know how they can sit straight on like a desk and chair with their lamp and their candles and their incense sticks on. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is something new. I can't do that, to be honest.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And if you do study,
And
what were you gonna say?
you know, go on, go on.
I was gonna say, if you do study like that 100% of the time, absolutely props to you. You're amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to like point out one thing. It's been recorded that for college students, that it showed that the longer that they use Facebook, the stronger was their belief that others were happier than they were. So that's just all that we're talking about, shown in a statistic, because that shows that yes, social media does impact you. Social media does make you feel unhappier. And yeah, so try spending little less time on social media, try comparing yourself a little more, and try to appreciate it, Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Appreciate yourself a little more, because what you are right now, I mean, we all try to be the best versions of ourselves, but you don't need to be honest. You don't need
Right.
to be the best version of yourself. What you are right now is enough, and you don't need to be somebody else. You know, don't need to compare yourself to somebody else. You're your own person. Go off.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
I do want to talk a little bit about the benefits of social media because we have been spending a ton of time talking about the negatives and how social media can be awful. So let's talk about the positive sides, why don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
One.
It helps you like staying connected with others. You kind of get to interact with a lot of people who share the same interests as you, do the same things as you. So it can be a space where you're feeling confident what you do as such. Like if you do art, like Jordan, you just said you're an artist. That's amazing. So you get to interact with people who have the same interest, and they can just hype you up, give you advice, and if not, just motivate you. So that really helps, you know, staying connected with others, growing your reach.
Mhm.
Social media is a great way to do that.
And
Um,
I do want to say, please be careful when sharing your information online. Of course, take all the safety precautions. But yeah, online groups like the
don't share your number on your Instagram bio, please.
don't share like your credit card information as well. um,
Yeah.
I do want to say, especially social media can be a great platform for building your business and trying to get people to check out your content and even make your own little side hustle. So, having that sort of platform, it's never been done before in history, and we're absolutely making history by spreading your business through social media. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing, and I think that you can definitely like go viral and start earning as much money as you can just through that sort of hard work and dedication, and that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of examples of people growing with the help of social media and them establishing their brand or their business. And we can definitely see on TikTok as such that people have a lot of, small businesses going on,
Right.
and they use the help of social media to gain. And it's a really great way to do that. And besides building your business or just, interacting with people, it also helps you, it also gives you entertainment. So we all see those funny videos on Instagram and TikTok, that make us happy, and we kind of find relatable content, which is the requirement of most of the teenagers. They just want to relate to stuff. They just want to feel like they fit in. So social media can also somehow, I mean, not entirely promote that, but some sort of content can make you happy, can entertain you. That just so social media has some positive aspects.
Hmm.
That, I mean, not just negative, some positive as well. And it's a good platform if used, if not abused as such,
Right.
if not used in a toxic manner. If you don't overuse social media, then that's a great platform to kind of have, and just expand your reach. And yeah, so
Absolutely.
some things you do to kind of cope with the negative aspect is like you can limit your time on social media, and just try to not overuse it, because then leads on to problems if you do that.
Right. It can definitely be a good way to just spend your time relaxing, but if you use it too much, it can be very toxic. Like I know for TikTok, for example, I used to browse that like 5 hours a day or 6 hours a
Yeah,
day.
I mean, it's really addictive. I mean, of course, entertainment content is addictive. We need more of that. We need to see more funny cat videos every single time we open TikTok. But sometimes people replace their study, I mean, their routine. If they want to study, instead they're going to go hours scrolling on TikTok and
Right.
Instagram. So definitely try to use it a little less, because not only it comes in a way of you doing your routine, but again, the negatives that we talked about before.
Absolutely. And the fact that 12 to 15-year-olds who spend more than 3 hours a day using social media might have a heightened risk for mental health problems says a lot. So please try to
Yeah.
limit yourself. I know that it can be very addicting, like we've discussed. I know that I spent a lot of time on Instagram and Discord and a lot of other things. So just being able to separate yourself and live your own life, focus on you and not all about social media. Even if you're like super bored, try to find another way to make you entertained.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out with friends, you can go out by yourself, go on a little self date,
Right.
treat yourself. Yeah, grab a cup, go grab like a latte from Starbucks or something. Go out shopping, just spend time with people that you love. If you love yourself, great, spend time with yourself, treat yourself, and just try to not center your life only around social media. Have people, have friends, not just on social media but reality as well, because they can also help you tons and tons. So yeah, do that. And I mean, it's been said, it's been noticed that the more people spend time with their friends going out, they feel less ostracized, they feel less down. So this is like really a good way to cope with the mental stress that you can get from social media. You can go out with friends, they can help, cheer you up, they can motivate you.
Right.
So yeah.
I think that being able to realize that online communication is very different than real life communication, because I think that as humans, we were not built to communicate or text with somebody every day, all day. So I think face to face interaction is definitely healthy on a sort of biological side, because we didn't come out the womb like, hey, let me text my best friend right now. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, people, when you see them in reality, if sometimes people rely on their online friends to help them cope with stress
Hmm.
or any problem they might be going through, I feel like, if not online, I mean, if you don't have real life friends, then online friends are all you can go,
Hmm.
to. But then, if you have friends in real life, you can talk to them because they would help you a little bit more because they know you a little bit
Right.
more. And so I feel like, as Jordan talked about the biological factors, this this thing is such, I think, spend time going off social media and interacting less with people on social media as such, rather than just do it in real life and actually not on your phone.
Right.
And the type of content you consume on social media, if it feels like, if you feel like you're getting negative energy from it, if you're feeling down from it, if you don't feel like your best self, if you see something on social media, definitely try to change the type of content you see on social media.
Hmm.
So if you see a lot of people, with their face altered and their perfect bodies, which most likely aren't going to be like that way, just don't see them. Try to kind of hide their profiles, try to ignore it, overlook it. Um, See what makes you happy. So if listening to songs or looking at memes make you feel happy, then do it. Like,
Right.
go follow some meme pages. So it just definitely depends on what you see on social media and the type of content that you actually are seeing.
Right. Um,
And
especially again catering to those sort of interests, like you said, with the songs and memes. Because I, again, as an artist myself, seeing other people's art can definitely get me inspired and in the mood to be creative. So yeah, definitely.
definitely, yeah, that definitely helps us. And people with, again, our same interests, they can help you a lot. They can motivate you a lot, and they can help to become better in your field. And if you are going through some mental health problems, if you're going through eating disorders, body dysmorphia. People out there on social media, they also might be going through this. There are a lot of body positivity pages. There are a lot of pages about the awareness of mental health, just problems that teens might be going through because of social media as such. So social media also has that side where people are positive, people kind
Mm-hmm.
of promote their real self and try to attach yourself to that side of social media a little bit more than the side that actually is fake and not authentic, and where people aren't their true selves and try to project themselves as, again, we talked about, perfect, but try to ground yourself with people who can actually help you and motivate you or might be going through the same thing as you, because that's how you make the best out of social media. And that is, I think, one of the most amazing things about social media, that you get to be aware about so many things. You get to surround yourself with people who might be going through the same things as you.
All right. And just one of these like last few tips that we have, um, again as the perfect sort of idea that we talked about earlier. Please try to practice some sort of body positivity or even like coping strategies with mental health or any sort of things that you think are negatively affecting you. Try to actively practice that to improve yourself, because as we all know, forever blooming, we are forever growing and being the best versions of
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yes.
I
I was saying that's amazing.
right.
Cool. Yeah.
I do want to also say, if you are digesting like negative news a lot, I know that especially with like this past year with COVID and everything, there's been a lot of negative news on social media. So try to avoid that if it gets too overwhelming, and even take breaks from social media. Because I think as a person who took a year break, it was so liberating and freeing. So you don't have to take like a year break, but if that's maybe like a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe just take breaks, because maybe too much.
Right now, I'm also on a social media break. I'm like, I guess 2, 3 weeks has been passed. I've not been on social media. I
Yay!
disabled my account. And yeah, it really has been good. I mean, I surround myself with a lot of nature,
Awesome.
and I don't see people living their perfect life. That makes me feel good about what I have right now. And it's a really good experience to kind of go out off social media and interact with the real world rather than just virtual online world.
Right.
But not everything is real. So it's a really good experience, and people should actually try going on breaks from social media.
Absolutely. Especially enjoying the nature. I love nature.
Yeah, same.
So, with all that being said, I think we can close out this episode with a few remarks that I will leave you all with. So, we do have a website called bloompod.wixsite.com/podcast, where you can see all sorts of things about our podcast. You can also follow our social media. Hey, that's what the episode was about. Our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook are all Forever Bloom Pod, but our TikTok is Forever Blooming Podcast, and the research and transcript for this episode is available on the Forever Blooming website in our extra section. Another part of our extra section is our podcast guest form. So if you want to be on the podcast, please let us know by filling out that little form. Our email is foreverbloomingpodcast@gmail.com, and please be sure to check out our link tree in the description for other direct links, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with friends. If you enjoyed this episode, I really hope you did, as much as we enjoyed filming or recording it. And have a great day, afternoon, or night whenever you're listening to this. Thanks for tuning in.